Alright, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another Play and Explain video. Today we are tackling arbitrary Europe like we did last week, but today we're handling some NMPZ. So I of course will put the challenge links down below if you guys want to play along, but we'll be doing 5 or 6 seeds here, and I'll try to explain every guess as I go through it. And yeah, obviously make sure to play the challenges before we hop into the games here, but that's pretty common sense, I would say. Alright. Let's hop into the first one here, create the challenge, copy and paste that link, and let's hop into it here without further ado. All right, a bit of a tougher one to start off with. This might be a bit harder than I thought. All right, definitely gives me more Eastern European vibes, I think, with the way that the road is kind of built. With like no shoulder here, pretty close vegetation on both sides of the road, and it looks like we're pretty high up into the mountains. So I guess one could consider Spain or France here, but I am thinking more Albania or Monty here. Weird shading here on the top of the camera. Now it's making me think if like it's high, like there's a rift here somehow. And I think the rockiness certainly makes sense, and the fact that this is Gen 3 as well on a paved road. Certainly you have to consider one of the countries that is still in Gen 3, which is Serbia, Montenegro, Albania here, and North Mass, of course. I'm really unsure, and I think if we're trying to get the maximum amount of points here, I would just be hedging Monty here. Because although this can be Bulgaria, Romania, I think the fact that this is Gen 3 makes it less likely, I'd say. Like, you'd rather guess a country that's fully stuck in Gen 3 rather than a country that got recently, like, mostly covered in Gen 4, like Romania, Bulgaria, Croatia, those hilly things. Road pavement doesn't really feel like Western Europe to me, so it's pushing me more Balkan, especially with, like, the speckledness, like the little white speckles in the road as well. So we'll try Monty. And it was just Montenegro. Nice, and we get a good region guess down as well. So it's a good start. And we hop into round 2 here. We do have some wood poles with this style of lamp, quite common in the country of Greece. And you know, these trash bins would fit for Greece as well. The big, like, plastic-looking bins. You will see a decent amount of water tankage in Greece as well. We do have a big mountain to the northeast, so thinking something like here. It does look like we are slightly elevated than this town, so maybe that's a little bit weird for where I've guessed. Maybe, I don't know, we'll try something here, and we're looking at this mountain range on the eastern portion. But the wood poles with the lamps, a very good clue for Greece. We do have these red tiled roofs as well, which is another good hint. You will get this quite frequently in Bulgaria, Greece, Turkey, as well as other countries, but I think with all of the clues that we have, I think Greece makes the most sense. It does end up being this ridge here. Looking at this, yeah, certainly makes a lot of sense. All right, we'll move into the next round here, in which it looks like we are in the UK. Not going to spend too much time on this one. We do have English warning residents only, yellow backplate, white front plate here, and these English style housing estate, like, street signs. As for where, I think with this heavy usage of brick, I would probably just guess somewhere in England. You can consider other ideas, but I feel like Scotland wouldn't have as many brick facades, although it is possible. I think I'm just going to guess in the... Okay, it was Isle of Wight there. I don't know how to get that one, really. Sand down there, but yeah, fair enough. We get the country. All right, next round, Volja Nova. Volja Nova. I don't immediately recognize the language, which is somewhat of a problem. I also don't really recognize this sign per se. Architecture to me, as well as the language, feels a bit more Slavic, I guess. So I'm thinking something in Central Europe. And if I had to rule it, it would probably be Czechoslovakia or Slovenia, Croatia with this. Certainly doesn't feel Romance languagey, so we're ruling out Romania. And then these 4 countries I feel like the architecture doesn't really fit. It feels more a bit more Central European. I think I'm leaning most Czechia here. Voljanova. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's always tough when you get rounds like these where you're kind of urban, but it is quite ambiguous architecture. You have a language that, you know, you can somewhat region guess, but not exactly get the country unless you're like some sort of linguistic expert. And I'm not familiar with this brown sign. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't paid attention to it, but I don't know if I've really seen this too often. I don't think it's Poland. It could be, I guess, but I don't know. The language doesn't sound particularly Polish to me, so I think I'm gonna roll with a Czechia here, but wouldn't be surprised if it was Slovenia, Croatia. I think it would be one of these four countries for me, at least. Bit more colorful houses as well, so maybe like you will get a decent amount of colorful houses in Czechia area, so we'll try it. And it is just Czechia here in Luni, but we will get the country. Put us on a 4 streak, I do believe. We hop into this round. Ooh. All right. Certainly seems Baltic. Immediately when you see a dirt road like this, especially going through forests, you immediately think of these 3 countries. Could be Russia as well, of course. But I think with the overall green blur to this location, green blur, very good indication for Estonia in Gen 3. Once you see green blur, it's like easy to recognize, but it's just like the green feels a bit more green, and you can see the blur. I mean, I don't know. It's a term that's thrown around pretty loosely nowadays, but it just feels like a green blur Estonia location to me. A bit more of a thinner road as well, which I guess would fit a bit more for Estonia, but these Baltic roulette locations are a bit difficult. I feel like in Finland or Sweden, you can get dirt roads like this, but I don't know if it would be this rocky. It would be a bit more well-maintained, I think. This one seems quite rural, so we'll try it. Yeah, it was Estonia on Hiiumaa there, but we get a 5 streak, and just below 20k. But yeah, good start for NMPZ. We'll hop into another game here, and let's start up in game 2. All right. 2022 copyright here, quite useful. Looks like early spring coverage. And I think with the flatness, I think my immediate thought is Lithuania. So in Lithuania, 2023 is going to be mostly summer, I believe. But with the 2022 copyright, it is going to be like early spring like this, where you can see leaves just starting to form on a lot of these trees. I don't know. These poles are a little bit weird, though. Is it ever Croatia? I mean, the poles fit a bit more for Croatia, but I think the architecture... I mean, we do have an unfinished house here, which is a good meta for Croatia. But the other houses definitely feel a bit more like... I don't know, Baltic looking, I'd say. I think with the spring coverage, it fits a bit more for Lith as well. And the overall flatness. I'm not sure what's going on with these polls, and hopefully, like, I haven't just sent Lithuania on Croatia. But spring coverage, 2022 copyright, with some of these houses, I think fit the most for Lith for me. It is Poland. Okay, yeah, that makes sense too. Maybe that's why the polls were a little bit weird. I don't know if you would get rounded polls like these in Lithuania. Oh, we had a ladder pole here, but I just couldn't see it. It was a bit too far away. We were only looking at the, yeah, we have ladder poles on both sides. Ooh, that is really hard to see. But you can kind of make it out if you lean in a bunch. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. We do get a bordering country, but 2022 spring also fits for Poland. Just didn't really consider it now. What is this then? We did do well on the first seed, but I'm not sure if we're going to go too well on the second seed here. All right, we do have, like, autumn-ish coverage, right? We do have some yellow, unless these are flowers here. Quite overcast coverage. I mean, it should be autumn-ish. Like, we do have some, like, yellow leaf, unless this is the flowers again. Okay, my first thought was Ukraine, then. If it's not actually autumn, Like autumn, I would have clicked somewhere in this area of Western Russia. But I think the road quality is a little bit shoddy, which would fit for Ukraine. It is very flat. And it's not actually autumn, I don't think. And the houses, to me, feel like it could be Russia, Ukraine, or these three Baltics plus Poland as well. But no road lines, hardly any signage. I'm not sure what's going on with this sign here. There's a sign here as well. I'm actually not too sure between Russia and Ukraine here. But I think I'm going to go Ukraine. Ugh. Okay, maybe it was autumn then. Like, let's check the season here. It was September, yeah. Okay, so these weren't... It's just interesting to me that some of the leaves on the tree have turned yellow, but not every leaf. I guess it is early autumn, as it is September. So it makes sense. Why did I assume that these were flowers? I guess maybe that's a bad assumption. Okay, that's an easily preventable mistake. I think the season is quite useful here because, like, autumn coverage, pretty rare in Ukraine. You will get late autumn coverage in Donetsk and Odessa, though. But, like, a lot of this is, like, spring, summer, I think. So, yeah, season always good to recognize. And Russia makes a lot of sense there. All right, is this Russia again, or is this going to be Ukraine? So we have very, like, square style Soviet poles. The architecture really does fit as well. I think I'm going Ukraine on this one as well. I think the way the fences connect to each other feels a bit more Hungarian influence, which would maybe fit a bit more for Western Ukraine. Well, let's try it. Okay, this one was Ukraine, but it wasn't exactly Western. It was in Smila there, but we do get the right country on that one. All right. This snow pole looking quite Andorran style. Just very long, very tall with like white wrappings, red wrappings, yellow wrappings. It could just be Spain as well, somewhere in the Pyrenees. I think with the snow pole here, we're going to have to go Andorra. I don't know this road, but we are quite high up in the mountains, it looks like, as you can see. This seems like quite a tall mountain. We're looking like nearly level with it. So, yeah, we will just try Andorra. It is this road. Fair enough. But we do get the country there, so not too bad. All right. Interesting around here. I think we do have a ladder pole here. Very hard to spot, but we can see like the slats in between the indented pole. So it should be a ladder pole here. This is like Basque style architecture. So you will get that here in Spain and then like here in France. Actually, I always get this confused with like German architecture sometimes, because German architecture can kind of be similar where you'll get these like vertical lines and horizontal lines just like kind of lining the front facade of the house. Ooh, I think this is Basque though. You will usually in Basque architecture you get like similar color shades, the lines and the roof. I think this fits. I think this rock wall also feels a bit more like maybe Spanish influence, like somewhere up here. So I think I'm going to try it. I'm not going to feel like super confident about it, but we'll go near San Sebastian. And hopefully it's not. Like the other guess would be Strasbourg here because it's like very German in style, German style, like French style houses. Because we do have the ladder pole, so we know we should be in probably France or Spain here. But yeah, it was just Basque inspired architecture, so quite happy with that guess at least. So we end off on a good note, and we get the country right as well. So 18,523, which is not bad. And we will start off another game here, game 3. All right, this one, less to explain here. Wood stick fences, quite common in Romania. And we do have a very Romance style language here, Ile Merea or something like that, which does fit for Romania. And we have this huge ladder pole looking us in the face. So all of those things, you will get a combination of metal roofs and tiled roofs in Romania, which is mainly going to be outside of the mountains here. Yeah, you can occasionally get combined roofs like in the mountains or like in this area, but you'll probably never get it here. This will mostly always be tiled because it is very Hungarian architecturally influenced there. So yeah, I'm going to try somewhere outside the mountains. Pretty good region guess there. We'll take that. All right, next round. Bit of a harder one here. First thought was Croatia, I think. Like this area. Could be Koper as well. That's certainly a consideration, but it definitely feels like this coast to me. Gen 3, I think the road fits a bit more for stuff that you would get in Eastern Europe here, and the bin certainly does as well, like this full metal bin. I feel like a bit more common in the Balkans area. We have a very like Mediterranean looking landscape here with these dark bark trees, right? And like these overall rockiness on both sides of the road. It definitely feels like we're somewhat coastal, at least with this location. But it doesn't feel like anywhere in coastal Spain that I can think of. I guess Galicia or like up here in Asturias and like this area of Basque country, it could be a possibility, but it doesn't really feel like that. And I don't know if the bin really fits for there. France possibility, but the road, I don't know if it really fits France, and this bin feels weird once again. Italy, it's possible, certainly, but I think I'm gonna have to go with my first thought here and just go Pula or Koper here, this area, and it was Montenegro. Okay, so I mean, we got kind of the right vibe here. We got the Adriatic Sea streak, but does end up being Montenegro. All right, how do I get this next time? I think I did see a copyright, but I chose to ignore it slightly. There is a rift here, actually. I didn't notice that. But there appears to be some splicing going on. Yeah, there's a 2016 copyright, which is because Montenegro and Albania are both stuck in Gen 3. It is quite common there to get 2016 or, 2016 copyright. Gen 3, because it hasn't been updated or the coverage hasn't been really touched since it made its debut. So yeah, usually a good sign to go one of these two countries here. But yeah, kind of a tricky Montenegro overall, but certainly makes sense. All right, next round. We do have what appears to be some kind of British Isles. I would say the architecture to me probably feels a bit more UK than it does Ireland. I would expect to see maybe a bit more white facades to these houses, but it is kind of a housing estate here. But we do have some canals, which, I mean, with it being so flat, there are a lot of canals, like, out here in this eastern portion, like around Norwich and, like, east of Cambridge. And I think with the flatness, it certainly does make sense. Other consideration would be somewhere in Scotland up here, but I think with all of those things, we do have another good clue here is we don't have a rounded gate, we have, like, a straight gate. Straight gate more UK style, and then rounded gate more Northern Ireland style. And I think with the flatness and this little canal here, I think it fits for this area. Oh, it was actually Netherlands there. Yeah, that makes sense too with the canal. I think that's quite the obvious choice, but facing this way, it is a bit hard, I think. Yeah, I guess this is more brick. I guess, yeah, it is brick. It's pretty hard to Okay, I'm curious to see how many other people go Netherlands with me, but yeah, I guess with the flatness it does make sense, and obviously we have this canal here. I do think there's a lot of people that's going to go Netherlands, but a lot of people will see this housing estate and not like immediately catch on that it's like a brick Dutch housing estate, but it certainly makes sense. All right, next round. The best we can do is just try to make the best guess with the information we have, of course, as I've said many times in the past. All right, this one also, once again, Gen 2. The Gen 2 locations are killing me. Well, the last one and this one. We do have pretty section off fences. This one's a bit more hilly, so I wouldn't expect this one to be the Netherlands like the last one, although, like, landscape-wise, it certainly could be if this was completely flat. I think the pole... Yeah, I think I'm thinking like Scotland here, wooden style pole. We have pretty sectioned off fences indicating like a difference in fields. I'm not sure what that is there, but the skinny road also makes sense for somewhere in Scotland or anywhere in the UK, really. But I think with this one, we will be going, okay, well, was near Bournemouth there. We do get the country streak, but not a good region guess in the slightest. And we'll move on to the last round here in what appears to be Russia, I want to say. 2023 copyright is a bit odd. We do have Birch Spam. No front of car here. Which makes sense. It seems kind of swampy even. Like if you look at both sides of the road, it looks quite swampy. I mean, can it be Baltics? It certainly could be. Oh, this might be a disaster class of a seed. We're only on 11k on round 5, but not the easiest locations. I don't want to show me just getting a 25 street, absolutely banging it out. So I think it makes a lot of sense to do something like this. I don't know. It feels most Russian to me. But like 2023 is a little bit rarer in Russia. Like it's mostly 21, 22 in Gen 4. So I'm a little bit worried about that. I think I'm just gonna hedge St. Petersburg. Like my second guess would be like Lith or Latvia here, I guess. Yeah, it was just Latvia. Okay. Maybe should be trusting the copyright there, arguably, but 2023 does exist in Russia, especially if it's updated. So we get a nice guess on round 1. But the rest of the seed did not go that well, so I'm sure a lot of folks will be here, but you know, trying to explain my thought process and what I'm working with. I'll move into seed 4. All right. We start off in, okay, we have a yellow back sign with red border. So immediately you think of Greece, I think. I'm trying to look for a copyright. 2025. Landscape feels very Spanish to me, but I don't think it's Spain. It has to be Greece. Yeah, unless I'm missing something here. But I feel like this sign's telling me Greece, and it doesn't look like a temporary sign. So it was just Spain. Okay. Got a bit baited by the sign there. Ooh, we had a no hunting sign there. Could we see that? No. Man, it's okay. Yeah, I think the outer road lines make more sense, like for Spain, especially with these dashes here, like which indicates like a turnout road. The landscape, I definitely did say it's probably more Spanish. Yeah, I think I trolled a little bit there. Oh, you know what? You can actually see the no hunting sign right here. Okay, I wish I had spotted that, but yeah, okay. We'll move on. Next round. I'm meant to be teaching you guys stuff, but I feel like I'm not teaching you anything with the current way that I'm playing. All right. Bulgaria here comes to mind. Summer coverage. We got a big city there to the northeast. I don't think it's Turkey, right? I think the pavement fits a bit more for Bulgaria. Some speckledness to the pavement, this light gray-ish. I guess one would have to consider Sofia here or something. Mountain in the background, which would fit for here. I just don't know where. Like we're looking northeast at the city somehow. I feel like a lot of this is just too. I don't know. Maybe it's not Sofia. Maybe we're looking at like Sylvan or something. I think Bulgaria makes the most sense here. We have a good amount of litter lying around as well. I don't know. I'm between Bulgaria and Turkey, but it definitely feels more Bulgarian to me. Yeah, okay, it was just Sofia, and we're like pretty close. I probably could have found this road. But yeah, it makes sense. We're looking northeast of the city. We have big mountains behind. So good start, or good second round there after the very poor start. We move into Sweden here, I do believe. We do have the short white outer dashes, which is probably one of the first European metas that you can learn. Okay. Guys. That's an Estonian flag. See, I was a bit concerned about Estonia, but I was like, we have a red barn. Just fits too well, doesn't it? Okay, well, I mean, clear Estonian flag there. Okay, let's talk about why this is Estonia at least. The dashes are a bit closer here, I guess, in Estonia than it would be in Sweden. And you know, you will get these rounded bollards in both countries, but yeah, I guess a bit more common in Estonia. Okay, sorry, everyone. Let's try to lock in for the last few seeds. We move into this round, which I think is Belgium here. We have a decent amount of brick usage here, and this wider pole with like kind of holes or slots through the middle should be a Belgian thing. You can get a similar variant in France. I think Belgium works the best. It was just Belgium, very close to the Dutch border. All right, we do have, I think these are Aleppo pines, so theoretically should be somewhere on the Mediterranean coast here or like here or does it feel most Italian? I guess it the wood pole here is interesting, but this looks like a metal pole, right? Or it's like a concrete one, or it's a bit thicker at the bottom, thinner at the top, which is a good telltale sign for Italy. I'm not sure, like the stop sign feels a bit weird. And this wooden pole definitely feels most like France here because like you will get that pencil top a decent amount in France. Really not sure here. I think I'm just gonna have to go with my gut on this one. Like this is one that I might just choose to hedge in the water. Like my gut's kind of telling me Spain here, but you'd have to go like Catalonia or something. But I think I'm gonna trust the poll and just go Italy. Can it be Corsica actually? Maybe with the mixture of the French and Italian poll. I guess that's possible. I think I'd rather just go Italy though, right? I'm gonna go Cesari or something. I don't know. Yeah, okay, it's just Italy near Naples, right on Mount Vesuvius. So that makes a lot of sense. We do get the country at least. But yeah, I think on that one, you kind of have to trust the poll, and I think that's what got me to the right country. Okay, I let's not talk about that one. All right, let's move into our last seed here. Hopefully, we can get a 5 out of 5. Um, as you can see, like Europe is a struggle for everyone. Um, okay, not an easy round here. First, I was Denmark or Sweden, I think. Very nice looking, well maintained road here. Trees feel a bit more northern to me. That's about kind of all I can go off of here because we all we see is a cemetery and this well maintained road. I guess Netherlands also comes to mind potentially. Hmm. It it's like slightly hilly though. Like it looks like we're slightly going uphill. I don't know. Like Netherlands is certainly a consideration as well, but like my first thought was Denmark or Sweden. So I think that's what I'm doing. It was the Netherlands. All right. Did say that was a possibility, guys, but it happens. All right. Next round in what looks like Italy here. A couple of unfinished brick houses, which is a little weird. Like we got one here, one here. But this painted house feels quite Italian. Also, I have mentioned in the past that Italy likes to use a lot of outer road lines, especially on like small roads, and you won't necessarily have a center line most of the time. Not sure what's going on with this pole. Is that a ladder pole? So are we just in Alpine France, maybe? Is it a ladder pole though? Oh boy. I think I'm just gonna say it's not a ladder pole and we just go like somewhere in Italy here. Wow. It is a ladder pole. Next round. Maybe should have trusted the ladder pole there. Okay, now I just feel like every round is getting a little bit ridiculously hard, no? Especially NMPZ. I know this map is meant to be played no move, but didn't expect to get this many diabolical locations here. All right, 2024 here. We got some interesting polls. At first I was like, Czechia here. We do have some rolling hills. A very thin, like, not as well maintained road. Because, like, I thought Germany, but I think the road would be a bit better quality. So maybe Czechia or Slovakia maybe works the best. I think I'm going Czechia here with the rolling hills. Like SK, I would expect to see maybe a bit bigger hills. I don't know. Like Germany is still in consideration, of course, but or Poland. All right. Next round here should be Russia. I think we do have this very Soviet-looking pole. As for where, I think I'm just clicking Moscow to be honest. Okay, it was Kostroma there. Fair enough. And we move into this round. We will do one more seed after this because this one was an absolute disaster. 2024. We have white outer lines, solid ones, not dash. So I think I'm going Finland here. Feels quite northern. We do have a bunch of birches and a lot of pines, so I think Finland makes the most sense, and it was. Okay. Yeah. Let's do one more game. Let's do one more game. I don't like ending on how poor of a job we did. Let's try one more here. All right. This location looking French, I would say. We do have a ladder pole here. I think the bins fit as well. Architecture's a bit odd. I could certainly see this being French architecture. Road is pretty well maintained. Doesn't look too shoddy, but I think the main thing is the ladder pole here. And it seems a bit too green for most parts of Spain. So I think we will be going France here, and I think I'm just going to click the label. All right, it was closer to Paris there, but we start off. It's a good start to the last round. All right, 2022 spring. And we are back in a Lithuania 150-50. I think this pole top looks quite Polish, doesn't it? Yeah, and we have a leaner here behind these pine trees. So I think Poland makes the most sense here. I feel like you'd be hard-pressed to find like a 3-pole leaner like this in Lithuania. We have that 2022 early spring coverage, as I mentioned previously. And we did see also exist in Poland, of course. So I guess I'm going Eastern Poland here because that's where the last location was. But I think this pole top certainly feels like the one that you would get on top of a holy pole. And then we have the leaner here. So I think Poland is probably our best choice. Yes, it was just east of Warsaw there. And we'll move into this round. Not the easiest round. Ooh. I don't know. I think we will probably miss this one, guys. I'm not sure. We're in just some kind of apartment complex. I guess we're expected to use the architecture here. It's going to be 2024 copyright, which isn't very helpful at all. At least with the earlier versions of copyright, like 21 or 2019, you can rule out most of the countries that got recently covered. I say recently, but like more recently covered, rather. Like Bulgaria, like a Croatia, like a Romania, like a Slovakia, stuff like that. So it kind of cuts your possible Gen 4 countries down in half. As for this one is hard. Okay, architecture on the right here with this red roof doesn't really feel... I don't know, man. I really don't. Like, I think the optimal hedge here is probably just to hedge for something Balkan or Central Europe. I'm just really not sure here. I'm really not sure. Okay, I mean, we don't have a double blue plate, it looks like. So probably can rule out Italy and France. Doesn't feel like Spain either. I think with the architecture on the right here, it didn't really feel like those anyway. Like this apartment building, the color of it made me think of Italy, but I don't think we have a blue on that side of the plate. And you would expect them to probably not be traveling considering this is an apartment looking building. Slovenia came to mind. It's possible. Romania came to mind. It's possible. I think maybe the house fits as well. Yeah, a lot of things really came to mind. I think, like, for me, the optimal head is just click Hungary here, because I could see this being Hungary as well. Probably less likely than stuff like, you know what, I'm going to go Croatia. I feel a bit more strongly towards Croatia and Slovenia than I do others, so we'll try it. It was Romania, okay. I mean, yeah. This house did feel quite Romanian in a way, with the red roof, the red, like, fake tiled roof, I guess. But it's a hard get, I think, just looking at this. But yeah, I mean, the apartment block felt more Eastern Europe, I guess. Tough. All right. Maybe we should have hedged that one. All right. This one feels like Ukraine, right? Looks pretty south. We obviously have some Cyrillic on the billboard there. Double laned road going north. One would have to consider maybe this road going slightly northwest. We'll try it. Okay, it was this road, but yeah, a bit further up. And we'll move on to the last round here. In the great country of Ireland, it looks like driving left, white backplate, so full white house facades with grey roofs, which are extremely common in good old Ireland. Yeah, we will just be sending this one in. I don't know this regional flag. What does that say? Line Reach? Is that a place? Might be. Maybe we take a little look-see for it. Is copyright? I have no idea. Not that I know copyrights in this one. You know what? I'm going to go Cork for good old Finbar. Okay, not bad. Elton. The Cozy Kitchen with an S. Love that. All right, 18049, which could have been better, I guess. Like, we could have got this Romania, but it is a bit hard to get those apartment block locations. I think we played fine for the rest of it, although we did have a few disasters in the middle. But yeah, that's going to be the episode, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to drop comments down below how you guys got along with the seeds. Maybe you struggled as much as I did. Maybe you outdid me. But hopefully you guys learned something from watching a pro play and explain Arbitrary Europe NMPZ, which can be extremely tough a lot of the time, as you guys saw today. So yeah, drop a comment down below. Hopefully you guys liked and subscribed already. And I'll see you tomorrow for another GeoGuessr video. Peace.